Hi, my name is Chie. I'm from Japan. Title is Jealousy. Kaho is my only daughter, who is 10 years old now. She likes to watch our family videos. Once, when Kaho was about 3 years old, she was watching a video of my husband and I happily taking care of baby Kaho. All of a sudden, she became red-faced and steamed with anger. Her smile disappeared and she became grumpy and looked angry. We were confused and finally realized, yes, she was jealous of baby Kaho. We felt relief and smiled sweetly at Kaho. We tried to reassure her that the baby in the video was baby Kaho, but it was hard for her to understand. Time after time, we kept telling her she was a baby and she finally understood. This story has been handed down as a funny story in our family. Whenever I speak of this story, she shyly smiles and says, I couldn't help it because I was just a baby and I didn't understand. Finished. Thank you.
I'm Janice Choi. I'm from Korea. The story about my friend. I've got a great friend. 15 years ago, I met her at our daughter's ballet class. Our girls became friends and we became friends too. She has been there for me all the time. But when I had to go back to Korea, we said goodbye, promising to meet again. We finally met again after a gap of 15 years. I am so happy to meet her again. She is still standing by me and prays for me. She is very special to me. She is a Christian of deep faith. She is warm. She always goes forward to help others. I will try to emulate her. She is a gift from God because God cares for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Natsumi. I'm from Japan. I'm going to share you my journal. My son Takuto's teacher and our class mother had this conversation on a Monday morning at school. Happy Monday! Thank you. I have never heard such a greeting. I thought it was very interesting. So, it is okay to say Happy Tuesday, everybody? I don't think so. Only Happy Monday sounds natural. But I'm not sure why. It is because Monday is beginning of a week. It is encouragement for a week. Maybe that's why it sounds natural. There is no such a greeting in Japan. I thought this is one of cool conversations I learned in the United States, and I want to use it next time. Thank you.
My name is Julie Choi from Korea. The title is Fasting. One day, 3 years ago, I discovered a swelling on my neck. I went to the doctor's office. I had an ultrasound and a blood test. My doctor said that I had hypothyroidism. Since then, I've been taking medicine for it every morning, and I've been going to the doctor's office regularly. Last January, my family doctor changed. When I saw my new doctor, he asked many questions about my condition. Then he said that I needed a blood test to do more medical examinations. He gave me a laboratory order and an imaging order and sent my prescription to the pharmacy. Then there were 7 tests marked on the lab order with many hard and abstruse medical words. The previous lab order was simple, but this time it was not. I just quickly scanned it and I thought, what are all of this? I went to the pharmacy to pick up my medicine, then went home to have lunch. On the way to the lab, I picked up my son at his preschool. I went to the lab around 1 p.m. with my son. I thought it would not be busy at the time. However, I was wrong. There were 2 or 3 people waiting ahead of me. We had to wait more than 30 minutes. My 3-year-old son became impatient. Finally, it was my turn. I had been there several times, so the technician recognized me. He asked me, "Did you eat lunch?" I said, "Of course. How about you?" I thought his question was a friendly greeting. He replied, "Oh no, you have to have a urinalysis test. You needed to fast." "Fasting?" I asked him. He pointed the words fasting on the order and said, "Yes, no food for at least 8 hours." When I first looked at the lab order, I saw the word fasting. At the time, I just thought fasting meant speed. So I did my best to go to the lab as soon as possible. We went home without any test, and I immediately looked at my dictionary. I found out for the first time that fast means no food as well as speed. I will forever remember the meaning of fasting. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ki-hyun-mi. I'm from Korea. I'm gonna tell you about my free day. Last February, I got 2 free gifts in one day. One was from McDonald's and one was from Yogurtland. In the morning, Julie and I met at Costco to buy refreshments for ESL. After finished shopping, we went to McDonald's for coffee. When we ordered, the manager said, "We'll pay for the coffee if you give a hug to each other." We were surprised. It was the first time that someone or some store have given me free gifts. Julie and I hugged and gave high fives to the manager. We delightfully took the coffee. In the afternoon, my friend told me about free yogurt because that day was International Yogurt Day and Yogurtland was giving free yogurt between 4 and 7 p.m. Our family went there at 6:30. There was a very long line in front of the store. We stood in the line, then the staff began to give coupons to the people behind us. It was not 7 o'clock yet, but the line was so long. I thought that waiting would be so hard, so our family decided to not wait and received the coupons instead. A few days later, our family used these coupons, which was great. My free day was really my lucky day. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ayano. I'm from Japan. I'd like to share a story about my hobby today. My hobby is exercise. I especially like running. I have run for 8 years to lose weight and refresh my body and mind. I have taken part in marathons many times, but now I'm 7 months pregnant, which means marathon running is no longer possible. So I started to walk instead of run. 2 months ago, the Los Angeles Marathon was held. Actually, it is long but a very good course. The race started at 7 a.m. My husband started to run from the Jazz Stadium and I parked my car and walked from Santa Monica to the 22-mile point where my friends were. I had to walk 4 miles to that point to cheer him on. While walking, I saw the top runner who was absolutely fast and cool. I continued to hurriedly walk and I arrived at 22-mile point. I waited for my husband to pass through that point, but he didn't appear. I was worried something might have happened to him because it was a hot day. I looked carefully at many runners and waited. Suddenly, I got a text from him. The text read, "Gone." Oh my goodness, I missed him. Even though I had walked quickly and watched carefully, I had missed him. I was shocked. But I was glad he was safe and he had finished faster than I expected. So I also walked back to Santa Monica. Many participants of the race were walking from the 22-mile mark. So I felt like I was participating in the race with them. And I was as tired as my husband. But it was good exercise for me.
From my children from school. The other driver was 10th grader at the same school as my children. He was a new driver who had just gotten his license a month before, and his car was a brand new car that his father had just bought a week before. I stopped at the crosswalk, but the young driver was not being attentive. His car hit the rear bumper of my car. I was shocked, and so was he. He was too young to handle his accident by himself, so he called his father, not to police. His father didn't want to report it to the police, and he didn't want to cover it with his insurance either. I accepted his decision because it was a minor collision. After I got all his information, I left and I took my car to the body shop for an estimate. They recommended that it would be better to receive the repair cost now and to fix it later because the damage was fairly minor. I sent the estimate sheet to his father and he discussed it with the technician. I finally agreed on the amount and his father said that he would deposit the money at the body shop in advance. Around the time, I was very busy, so I went to the body shop about 1 month later to get the money. I was very surprised because the father had told the technician to call him after fixing my car. That meant he would not give the money in advance of the repair. The father appeared to think that I only wanted the money and would not fix the damage. I was very surprised and angry because it was none of his business if I fixed my car right now or later. So I called his father to say that I would fix my car later and I wanted him to pay the cost to me now.
He said that he was utterly absurd, and he implied that I wouldn't fix my car and would take the money without fixing it. He showed lack of respect and hung up the phone after saying he would send the money. I was compensated, but he was very offensive. I wanted to call and defend myself point by point, but I gave up the idea of facing him again because I didn't want to experience any more frustration. Anyway, a personal tirade in any form is far more objectionable than his opinion of my character. Thank you very much.
My name is Eun-ha Choi. I'm from Seoul, Korea. Title is My Puppy Gomi. My daughters and husband really wanted to have a dog, but I didn't because I was not sure that I could take care of a dog. We finally decided to get one after long discussions. I felt strange when I saw a dog inside my house because most dogs stayed outside when I was young in Korea. When Gomi first came to my house, I didn't allow him to go upstairs. But a few months later, I allowed him to go upstairs. And now he even sleeps in the same bed with me. Gomi makes me whole family laugh. This day when I come home, my kids just say hello to me from the second floor. However, Gomi greets me at the door with a full heart. So I think Gomi is better than my kids. For my family, and we wanna be together forever. Thank you.
It was a late afternoon on a cloudy Wednesday. My daughter, 7-year-old Yuna, was bored at home, complaining she had nothing fun to do. I wanted to stay at home because dinner time is a busy time for a wife and mom. However, I wanted to be a good mom, so I compromised myself and suggested that we could go to the local city library, which is located just 1 mile away from our house. Yuna was not excited at all about my idea, but she couldn't think of any other place to go on this late weekday afternoon. When we got there, we were wandered around as usual. But in my mind, I was in a hurry because I kept thinking about all the things I should be doing before sleep, such as washing dishes, preparing tomorrow's breakfast, and so on. I was going to spend just a few more minutes at the library to be a good mom and check out some books for my daughter, then go back home to my ordinary daily tasks. However, it was a little different on that day because one book caught my attention as soon as I saw the title, A Little Princess. I loved that book when I was a young girl. That book took me right back to my childhood when I was just at my daughter's age. It was the first time I read all the way through to the last page, even though I was not a type of girl who liked to read. It was a nice surprise that I still remembered the illustration of the main figure, Sarah, on the cover. On my old book, Sarah was wearing a brown cape over a white frilled dress. She had a yellow hair ribbon on her shiny long hair. I was fascinated with her style and fancy outfit. As a young girl, I mostly wore t-shirts and pants and had a short haircut. The illustration on the book in the library was quite different, but it was still fascinating Sarah. The book had taught me courage, sympathy, true friendship, and lots more. Whatever the reason I discovered, the book was still special to me almost 35 years when I found the book again. I began to explain the book to Yuna with an excitement that is rarely for me. That night, I started to read the book with my daughter, and I wanted to forget all about my task because my husband could pick up breakfast at Chick-fil-A on the next morning. Since becoming a mom, I have only concentrated on being a good mom. I didn't even care anymore about what I had liked and what I had dreamed of. It has been a whole different 7 years and I was happy with it. However, I suddenly realized that my daughter had grown up enough to read the Little Princess book, and I'm pretty sure that she will be happy if her mom cares about what she likes to do. Since that night, I have thought about what I like. I wanted to find more life than being a mom or wife. So I have started my first steps at Trinity Church. I hope God blesses my new search as well as my family. And I hope if anyone is like me here, God bless them as well.
I want to share my story about internet addiction. Nearly 40% of 20 to 35-year-olds spend at least 9 hours on digital devices daily. Really? Well, yes, I actually do. I know it's bad for my eyes, but I can't stop. I watch SNS every day to contact my friends and my family in Japan. I check email and news of what has happened in the world, and then I look at some interesting sites for a couple of hours. That time steals more important things from my life. I even sometimes read a book online. An online book is light, so I don't have to carry heavy books. If I don't have time to go to a bookstore, I can buy any book online in a couple of minutes. But I used to love the smell of books. I still miss that smell. When I had a job in Japan, I always carried 2 or 3 books in my bag. I read it on the train, after lunch, or when I was waiting for someone. I also remember that when I was in elementary school, I carried heavy dictionaries to school. It was fun to find what I wanted to know in the dictionary. I would turn the very thin pages and carefully look and find and mark the word like treasure hunting. We enjoyed finding bad meaning words too.
Yeah.
But now it's different. My older son, Kazu's kindergarten, uses iPads. He's going there this coming September. I know it will be fun and easy. Just push the on button and the iPad can take children to a world of adventure. It fascinates children. They will be able to learn almost anything they want to know in a few minutes. The pictures are vivid, the sound is clear, and it is multilingual. Nowadays, electronic devices and people are inseparable. What we need to do is use them correctly. This afternoon, I didn't spend much time on the internet. I just used it for searching English words through the online dictionary and searching for a recipe for tonight's dinner. And I watched my younger son's sleeping face instead of the screen. Goodbye, smartphone. I will get along keeping some distance from you, but stay close just in case. Thank you.